So here I would like to focus over what is DOM. As I told you, the DOM is what? Document Object Model. Okay. So what is document object model? I will explain here. See, in JavaScript what happens? The DOM means document object model. It is a structured representation of HTML. Okay, already we have studied the HTML, hypertext markup language, which will be used to create the web page designing. So here document object model DOM means DOM is a structured representation of HTML or XML. XML extensive markup language. So if any HTML page or XML page is there, so that moment what happen, if any HTML code we have written or XML code we have written, so by that code one web page will be developed. So that moment what happen, this document object model, that is what it is, a structured representation of that HTML web page. If any code, HTML code, see here, this is the HTML code, this is the, generally we will write the code like this, HTML code. Okay, this is the HTML code. So for this HTML code in browser what happens, one structured representation of this HTML web page will be created like a tree structure. Okay, tree structure, document, then HTML, within the HTML head section, head element, then body section. Section means body element. Every element has two tags, start tag, end tag, and within the body H1 element, P element, paragraph element, header element, like that, a tree structure. So what we can say, that document object model, it is a structured representation of HTML web page that the browser creates. Who will create this structured representation, that is called DOM? Who will create? Browser creates. So when browser loads a web page, for that web page browser creates a DOM, document object model, that is a structured representation of that HTML web page. So we can simply consider this DOM, document object model, as a tree-like structure, like this. This is the code written for a web page. Okay, this is a code written for web page. Whenever for this code one web page will be created and that will be loaded. At the time of loading, this type tree structure will be created. This type tree structure will be created by the browser for that web page, that is called your DOM, document object model. It looks like a tree-like structure for that web page, for this code. Okay, so I hope that you can understand what is DOM. Generally using JavaScript with the DOM, what is here? Heading is a variable created with let keyword. I told you that in the previous classes, how can we create the variables, let keyword, constant keyword, like that. So here for the new versions, browsers let will be used. So heading is a variable. Document.get element by ID. This method, I told you that this is the mostly used in JavaScript HTML method that will be used to find the HTML content, okay, in the document of that web page. So here ID is title, okay. Inner HTML attribute that will contain the content, okay. It will having the content of that HTML page. This get element by id method will be used to find out the element of HTML element and to change any HTML content, otherwise to display any HTML content. Okay, that element content that will be displayed by this inner HTML attribute. Okay, so heading is a variable, that is what for this total code is stored in a variable heading that is created by let. So like this, what color is style blue. Okay, so now what happened, the above code, this is the JavaScript code. From here to this is JavaScript code. This above code directly changes the DOM, changes the document object model. So what we are seeing on that web page updates instantly, means quickly without reloading. No need to reload that web page. No need to reload the web page. Okay, instantly that web page will be updated by this code. Okay, so shortly what we can say that DOM is nothing but, so it stands for document object model. It is a bridge between JavaScript and HTML CSS. HTML hypertext markup language, cascading style sheets, JavaScript. These three we must be familiar whenever, if we want to become front-end developers, we should have the knowledge over these three languages. So browser creates DOM automatically. So which browser? This is Chrome is a browser, Edge is a browser, Microsoft Edge is a browser, Internet Explorer, Microsoft Mozilla Firefox, okay, Microsoft Edge, Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, all these are Internet Explorer, these are all called browsers. So JavaScript uses DOM methods. What are DOM methods? Already we have studied: get element by ID, query selector, to interact with the page dynamically. Okay, so in this class I have tried to clarify what is document object model. It is a tree-like structure. It is a tree-like structure that will be created by the browser before loading of your web page. When it loads a web page, so browser creates this document object model. It is a tree-like structured representation of the HTML web page. Okay, that will be loaded by the, when web page is being loaded, that moment this DOM will be created by the browser. Browser will create a DOM for that web page. Okay, I hope that. So in this DOM, see here, this is the DOM tree-like structure. Here each HTML element is represented as a node. Each HTML element, see here, body is an element, h1 header section is an element, p is paragraph is an element. Every element has two tags, start tag, end tag. So every HTML element is represented as a node, like p is an element, division is an element, h1 header section is an element. So every element is represented as a node. Attributes and text inside elements are also nodes. If any attributes, text inside elements, inside of elements, this is the ID value, title is value assigned for string, value assigned for ID attribute. So attributes and text inside elements are also nodes. So JavaScript can access, modify, add or remove these nodes dynamically through a DOM. So JavaScript language, what it does, it can access, modify, add or remove these nodes. Which nodes? The nodes means the HTML